Welcome to our second lesson in our new unit of early Asian civilizations. We're going to be talking about the Indus River Valley again. Anyone remember the name of the city we were talking about as well? We'll review that here in a second. Remember, we're learning about these civilizations in the country of India. But before we talk more about our city we've been talking about, let's go through our vocabulary word. Yesterday, we heard the word fertile. Everyone repeat that word with me. Fertile. Anyone remember what that word fertile means? That's right. Fertile means soil that's really good for growing crops. We learned about how and why the soil is fertile in our civilization. Let's review really quick what we learned about yesterday. Who remembers the name of this yellow spot in our map, which is our mountains? Anyone remember the name of those mountains? So remember, those mountains are called the Himalayan mountains. And from there starts this little blue line. Anyone remember the name of this blue line? It's our river. That's right. It's our Indus River. And then right by the river was our big red dot, which shows our city. And this city was called Mohenjo-Daro. Why is the river coming out of the mountain? Oh, yeah, that's right. Remember, the snows melt from the mountain and it combines with that spring rain and it floods, and people would want to build their city right by that river. Remember some key terms we talked about yesterday. We have the word ancient, which means very old. We have that word civilization, which is a group of people that are living together and developing many things. So an ancient civilization are people that lived a very long time ago that are living together and developing many things that we're still using today. We use a form of irrigation canals today, even. Remember, the key to every civilization or every component or characteristic of a civilization are cities, jobs, leaders, writing, and religion. And we're going to be talking about all of those during this unit. After today's reading, you should be able to explain the importance of the Indus River and Mohenjo-Daro. We got to figure out why it's so important. And we're also going to show an understanding of the word source. I hope you enjoyed the Indus River Valley part 2 story today. Again, I want you to listen carefully to find out what life would have been like for a child living in Mohenjo-Daro long ago. Today, we are going to travel back in time to meet a child living in Mohenjo-Daro 2,500 years ago, a long time ago. The child's father is a grain trader. Grains are like seeds from plants, such as wheat, corn, rye, or oats. Wheat from the surrounding fields is stored in a common granary near the citadel, the safe place in the center of the city. The father's job is to collect the grain and take it through the city gates to the bustling port by the river. Bustling means very active or busy. There, he will trade it for gold, copper, jade, and turquoise from distant lands. Meet Sanjay, the boy in this picture who is waiting excitedly for his father in the courtyard of his family's home. It is a special day. Sanjay has waited 9 years for his father's invitation to join him today. Sanjay can hear the bull cart rattling down the side passage now. Then he sees him. The man in the turban. That's Sanjay's father. The turban he wears is a headdress made of cloth and worn by men in his region. Hop in, son. Let's go. Sanjay nestles or settles snugly in and comfortably into the back of the wooden cart, bracing himself against its sides. As his father guides the bull out of the main street, he has he has bathed and put on fresh cotton clothes, for father has promised that after the morning's work he will be allowed to join the priests in a special ceremony, giving thanks to the mighty Indus River for all that she provides. As the cart jostles Sanjay about with each turn in the road, his thoughts travel back to last spring when steady rains flooded the river, forcefully breaking through the city walls and toppling buildings in its wake. Sanjay remembers it as if it were yesterday. The awful smell of wet mud that filled his home as he and his sisters waded knee-deep in muck, waiting for the muddy waters to recede or to move back away from the city. Sanjay knows from experience that the river has the power to destroy things in its path. And yet he knows, too, that the river is the source of life in the valley. The word source means the start or cause of something. Without the river, there would be no crops or food, no cotton for clothing, and no means of easily transporting goods over long distances. Sanjay's thoughts are interrupted by the sudden jolt of the cart as it takes its place behind other traders lined up in front of the city granary. Enormous terracotta pots filled with grain are hoisted into the cart and set down beside him. Sanjay wonders how the wooden wheels beneath him can carry so much weight. So terracotta is a brownish orange clay and often used by the people in ancient civilizations to make little potteries or pots to hold things. You can see a couple examples in this drawing here. Turning to face forward in the cart, Sanjay sits on his knees, straining to see over the approaching city gates to the sailing ships beyond. As the cart sways to and fro from the weight of the pots, Sanjay's father struggles to edge his way through the crowd of bull carts, all heading toward the loud, lively sounds of the harbor. Once there, father exchanges his grains for copper from Mesopotamia, hoping to sell it to the jewelry maker for a good price. The sun is directly overhead, now midday, as father steers the bulls away from the bustling port and comes to a standstill beneath the shade of a willow tree. Sanjay's heart skips a beat. Stepping down and leaning into his father's side, Sanjay walks with him toward a grove of banyan trees. So what do you see in this picture? How does this picture explain or help you know what is going on? So in this picture, I see boats, I see some more terracotta pots, and what's going on is people are trading from different countries or different civilizations around them. Why would they want to do trading right by the water? Why is there boats and stuff? Why is that helpful? It's helpful because people from ancient civilizations would rely on boats to travel long distances. So the people from Mesopotamia are like many, many, many miles away, and they can travel by boat to trade with the people of Mohenjo-daro, like Sanjay's father. Gathered among cows and men, Sanjay's eye is drawn to the holy man, seated on bare ground in a cross-legged position, head bent in silence. Bowing his head, Sanjay listens to the words that have comforted his people for many years. O great river, mother of the people, provider of life, we thank you. What river is this man talking about? It is now 6 moon cycles since your banks have last flooded. We pray that we may please you and be spared from future harm. Your waters give us life. To you we owe our lives. Accept our blessing, great river. A squeeze from Father's hand lets Sanjay know that he is proud to bring his son to this sacred spot for the first time. Sanjay answers his squeeze with one of his own, whispering his thanks for this day. So we heard in this read aloud right at the beginning, Sanjay was riding in that cart and had a little bit of a memory of the Indus River. And how is the Indus River harmful, but also helpful to the people of Mohenjo-daro? What was Sanjay's father's job? What other jobs do we know about from this civilization? Would you think it would be easy to live in this civilization, or would it be hard to live in this civilization? Before we move to our word for today, let's take a look at a quick video made by National Geographic, and they're going to show you and give you a couple of little facts about Mohenjo-daro. And they're going to show you even pictures of what Mohenjo-daro looks like even today. I mean, it's not going to look the same because after many years, all the buildings are destroyed. But you can see, even in this picture really quick, you can see the ruins or parts of the buildings that were there. And the scientists and archaeologists can get an idea of how they lived. So take a look at this video that gives just a little more facts about this amazing city of Mohenjo-daro.
The ancient city of Mohenjo-daro is one of the first urban centers in human history. Nestled in southern Pakistan's Indus River Valley, Mohenjo-daro is the largest and best preserved city of the Indus civilization, the earliest known civilization of the Indian subcontinent. Mohenjo-daro was built around 2500 BC, about the same time the Great Pyramids were being built in Egypt, and it spanned a surface area of nearly 500 acres, an incredible size for a city of this time period. Because of Mohenjo-daro's grand scale, archaeologists believe it may have served as a seat of power for the Indus civilization. The city was divided into 2 districts, the Citadel and the Lower Town. The Citadel is home to the city's exceptional monuments, including the Great Bath, a 900-square-foot tank fed from the Indus River. Mohenjo-daro also had a sophisticated water system. Houses had baths and toilets, and the town featured both an elaborate sewage system and fresh water in 700 wells throughout the city. The Roman baths, some of history's most famous waterway systems, weren't constructed until many hundreds of years after Mohenjo-daro's Great Bath. Mohenjo-daro has no places of worship or governance, such as palaces, royal tombs, or temples. This may indicate that the society was not built around state interests like the Egyptian and Mesopotamian societies at the time. Rather, the class structure of Mohenjo-daro may have been relatively equal. The city's second district, the Lower Town, may demonstrate the society's egalitarian structure. The Lower Town, with its intricate water system, was home to between 20,000 to 40,000 people. Unlike many urban areas of its time, it was laid out in a grid system similar to modern-day city blocks. After approximately 600 years, the city collapsed. No one is quite sure why, but the cause could potentially have been a change within the culture, or in the path of the river. Without its crucial source of water, the city's residents may have moved away, leaving Mohenjo-daro nearly abandoned. In 1911, nearly 4,000 years after the city fell into ruin, archaeologists paid their first visit. The ensuing decades of excavations have unearthed countless clues that tell the tale of Mohenjo-Daro, but it still holds secrets for us to discover.
Very cool. What awesome way these people, I mean, again, they had little baths in their home, and that was long time ago. And that's just crazy to think about. So our work word for today is the word source. Say the word source with me. Source. Anyone know what that O-U-R, those vowels right there together are making in this word? It's kind of making an or sound. And usually when we look at O-U-R and we think of the word hour, it's not source though, it's source. What is the letter C making in this word? It's making the S sound. Is that soft or short? What do you think the word source means? The source is the start or cause of something, the place in which something occurs. So I put a little Game Boy here. Does anyone know the source or how the Game Boy gets its power? What's the source of power for a Game Boy? The source of power for a Game Boy are the batteries in the back. That's the source of where the Game Boy gets its power. June's flashlight was the only source of light she had when the power went out. So the only light, the start of the light or cause of light was the flashlight. Can you name any source of light, heat, food, or water for you? Again, Mohenjo-Daro and the Indus civilization is definitely intriguing, and we're going to continue learning more about these people and why they lived and did such things in ancient India. I hope you enjoyed this read aloud, and we'll continue learning more about the Indus River Valley and the people of the ancient Asian civilizations.